Hey everyone, I am so excited to do this video today on wedding dresses that I tried on but didn't pick. So some of these dresses I loved, some of them I loved either on the hanger or on a photo I found on Pinterest or on the model, but when I tried them on myself, I just knew it wasn't my dress. Some of them I even thought were my dress until I ended up trying on the dress that became my dress. And so I won't be showing you the dress that I actually picked. I'm gonna save that for the wedding day, but I'm gonna be showing you a bunch of other ones. And I started filming this with the green screen background where I could like have the dress here and talk about it and just do a quick reel and TikTok. But I have realized I am a long form content girly. I like YouTube because I get to have that conversation and not just have like a very quick, like, this is this dress, I didn't like it. This is this dress, I liked it. I feel like I am someone who likes to chat and ramble, if you will. So long form content is just my preferred method, but I'm also going to do a real version of it and I'll upload that on Instagram and also on TikTok. So I have gotten on TikTok. I have one video up so far. It is the same username as my Instagram, Miss Blair Fowler. I will link them both down below. If you prefer short form content, that might be a better place for you to watch these style of videos, but I prefer the long form. I prefer filming them, and so I want to continue to do this for those of you who also like to listen and watch long form content. Any of the dresses that I showed that I obviously didn't pick, if those are your dress or your dream dress or the dress that you wore, I do not in any way want to say that there is a better dress out there or a dress that you should have picked. Absolutely not. I tried on these dresses because I loved the design. There was just a dress that for me, I felt more confident in, and I want to feel the most confident on my wedding day. That is why I went with another gown, but I'm not saying anything negative about these gowns, so I just wanted to go ahead and throw that out there. Also, I have only photos of a few of the dresses. When I first started trying on, my mom has been here for a week and then Elle has been going to the appointments with me. So we had photos of the first few dresses, and then I realized that I wanted to do this video, so we started getting some video content, but my mom filmed all of it, and so some of it we're not actually filming like to share. It was more clips of like the way a certain area of the dress hugs my body, or maybe a close-up detail of like an embroidery moment. So some of the footage isn't usable for this purpose, but I will show you what I have. I did have a few qualifiers when it came to picking my dress. The first is timeline. So I'm getting married this fall, and a lot of dress designers say that they need 6 to 8 months to make the dress and ship it to you, and then you need time for alterations. So I was really looking at off-the-rack dresses, sample dresses, or designers that either offered expedited shipping or they had a shorter lead time. So I have to be able, obviously, to get it by my wedding date and have time to get it altered. A lot of the dresses that I went in and I like saw them on the hanger and I was like, oh my gosh, I love this one, I want to try it on. They'd be like, there's no way we can get that by your wedding date. Second one, I know a lot of people say you don't want to go too trendy with your wedding dress because when you look back on photos, you don't want it to be such a defined like 2024 trend that people are like, that was a 2024 wedding. You want to be a little more timeless. I'm not sure I fully agree with that. Actually, I know I don't, because my wedding is in 2024. So if you look back on my wedding photos and you're like, that's a 2024 wedding dress, like, yeah, it was. It was a 2024 wedding and I felt beautiful on the day. So I wasn't letting that steer me too far, but in the back of my mind, there was something really appealing to a timeless dress that I kind of wanted to try on both, but I wasn't going to exclude one because I was so far like, I really want this trendy style or I really want this timeless style. I also wanted to be really cognizant that yes, I have this idea of an aesthetic and a vibe for my wedding, and I pulled some Pinterest images of dream dresses that I loved, but I wanted to be careful that I wasn't putting myself in a box and not trying on something else, because yes, I have this idea of the vision of what I want for the wedding, but a lot of the things aren't set yet. Like we have our venue and stuff like that, but I could pretty much pivot that venue into any kind of vibe I wanted. So I didn't want to be stuck by seeing one dress that I was like, it has to be this dress, and not appreciate the designs of other dresses. I wanted to wear the dress. I did not want the dress to be like fully the star of the show, where when I walk in, everyone's like, oh my God, the dress. I know a lot of people do want that, but I wanted to make sure that like I was still kind of like, not in a narcissistic way, but just in a way of, I want people to see me when I enter the room, not just the gown. And so that was important. And also making sure that, I just read a quote in a book for work in architecture, but it was talking about the difference between elegance and opulence. And I don't think that before I read that quote, I ever fully separated them in my mind. They were kind of synonymous to each other, but now I do see elegance and opulence differently. And I wanted to make sure that my gut reaction wasn't to not try on an elegant dress because I was attracted to like the sparkly or the super embellished by the opulent dress, and didn't give an elegant, simple dress a chance. So you'll see a lot of the dresses I try on are a lot more sparkly and caught my eye off the rack, and a lot of them are a cleaner dress. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the dresses. This was the first dress that I tried on, and this was an off-the-rack gown, so this designer, I wouldn't have time to actually have this dress made in my measurements. It was pretty tight on me to begin with, and also like the underwire in the cups was definitely made for a smaller size, and I know that they could like manipulate that and stretch that, but it felt like the whole dress in and of itself was just made for a little bit of a like narrower person, and we would be able to alter it to fit properly, but it wasn't going to ever fully look like it was intended to in the design. Like we would have had to alter like some of where the lace laid. I also am not a ruffles girly, so I didn't love the ruffle drop sleeve and the ruffles across the chest. And I also just felt like it was a little too look at the dress, don't look at me. I did love the train of it. I loved the beading and embroidery work, but when I had it on, it was pretty clear, like right away, that wasn't probably gonna be my gown. I loved the train on this dress, but I did not love the body of it as much. And I know that this is something that could be changed, but I feel like if you're going into super intense alterations and changing what kind of makes the dress the design and the dress, it's kind of altering the vision that the designer had in the first place. And I am not a fashion designer, so I don't need to be making those decisions. But I didn't love that it was a nude color under the white lace. I definitely preferred dresses that I tried on that were, even if it was like a form-fitting something with the lace over top, I liked if they were both more of a white color and less of that nude skin tone. I would be very interested in a veil that had this kind of style at the end, but I don't even know what this is called, so I don't know what to look up. So if you do, please let me know. But having more of like the bottom come to that like shaped, it's not just like the standard curved veil and then the lace around the edges. It's like it's actually cut to the lace. I think that's really, really stunning, but overall didn't pick the dress. This dress I really liked. This was one that was going to be able to be made to my measurements in time, and I would have had the little flowers that are at the top of the chest. There's just like 2 or 3 on each side. It was an option to get it without that. I would have picked it without that. When I first put this dress on, I thought this could absolutely be the one. I ended up finding a dress that I liked better than this, but it was a really stunning gown, and I liked the corseted top and the drape, and everything about it just felt really beautiful to me, and I felt really confident in it. I am shocked at how much I loved this next dress because it is a ball gown, and I thought I was going for a little more fitted. The fabric on this gown was absolutely incredible. It was just such a luxurious fabric. I didn't love the cutouts on this dress, and it didn't feel modest enough for what I'm going for, but I did absolutely love the fabric of the dress. So this is another one of those where I was thinking like, how can we cover up these mesh panels? Can we put actual fabric in there? But again, that would change the entire design of the dress, and at that point, I just felt like I knew I had to keep trying, and I'm glad I did, but this was definitely one that when I put it on, I was like, maybe I'm a ball gown girly. This was an absolute no for me, dog. Like, I put it on and I was like, absolutely not. But I thought I would show you guys what this style would have looked like. Again, the V was too deep in the front. I know we could have changed that, but I also didn't like the shape of the drop waist with the hips, and it wasn't my dress, but it was a really, really gorgeous fabric, and I'm glad I tried it on. Not gonna lie, this was my dress for a hot second. So I tried this on. It was a lot more like clean and just simple than I expected I was gonna pick, but I felt very bridal in it, and I just really loved the dress. It would have also been one that would have been made in my size in time, and it would not have had the slit. I did not like, though, the internal corset and boning stopped at kind of a weird place. They were explaining if it goes any lower when you sit down, the boning would like poke into your belly button. In every photo, like my eye would go straight to that, even though I know other people probably wouldn't notice it immediately. I did, and so I knew it was gonna bother me. But even with that, this dress was definitely a, oh my gosh, this might be the one moment. This gown was gorgeous. I loved the lace. I loved the quality. At the end of the day, I just found another dress that I liked more, but I would have needed to figure out, this was an off the rack dress, so I wouldn't have been able to change the size of the cups or the top, you know. I would have wanted to figure out a way to make it a little more modest across the top of the chest. I would have wanted to like either take some of the lace that we were gonna have to have hemmed and lay that across, or figure out a way. I was willing to like work with it and figure it out, but at the end of the day, I found a dress I liked better. The fabric on this one, oh my gosh, it was so good. The cups did feel a little small. This was another off the rack one. The cups felt a little small, and it also felt a little too mermaid for me. I know it is a mermaid silhouette, so it has more of like that tight through the knees and then flares out. I think I liked the dresses that flared out a little bit higher better. And this is coming from someone that loves mermaids, and I used to think I was one. I would tie my ankles together with a hair tie and throw myself in the pool. I love a good mermaid dress. It just didn't feel like the dress that I wanted for my actual wedding, but the quality of it was, oh my goodness, so freaking good. Now we're getting into the top two dresses. Both of these dresses were my dress at one point, and you will see how different they are. But at one time, I envisioned purchasing this dress and saying, this is the dress I'm wearing. So the first one was a ball gown, which again, didn't think I was gonna end up with a ball gown. I tried this one on. I love the corset top with the drop waist. I loved the silhouette of it. I loved the quality of it. I loved the lace. I loved everything about this dress. I absolutely loved, except for the fact that it was very large, like larger than a lot of the ball gowns I tried on. So it was in charge. Down the aisle at the ceremony, it would have been fine. But even when we bustled it, the volume of space that I would have taken up at the reception would have been so large that I felt like I would be really uncomfortable. I also felt like Grant, my fiance, like I would not be able to get like close enough beside him in photos. And like on that day, I want to snuggle up close to him. So I definitely knew that this dress would be a ceremony dress, and then I would get a different dress for the reception. However, the price point of this dress did not leave any budget for a reception dress. This one was actually over budget. So there were a lot of things I loved about it, but at the end of the day, it just wasn't gonna work for multiple reasons. But I did think that this was my dress for a while. And then this last dress I'm showing you was my dress for probably a week. So I fell in love with this gown the second I tried it on. We went to other shops, we went back and tried this dress on again. We went to other shops, we went back and tried this dress on. Like, this was my dress. And if you hear the audio in any of these clips, you will hear us always comparing it to this gown. This was my wedding dress for a while. The issue with this dress is this is an off the rack, and it was far too large for me, and so it would have had to be altered, which could have been done, but we were worried that because it's such a soft drapey fabric, that trying to alter it in that many sizes was really going to affect the integrity of the design and the way that it laid. That was my biggest issue with this dress. There's also a little thing that I nitpicked about it that, like, at the end of the day, if this ended up being my dress, I would have lived with and it would have been fine. The back of the gown, where it comes together at the zippers, the two sides of the draping don't line up. And at the top, it doesn't really matter, but as you go down the body, it kind of started like zebra striping. And for some reason, that really bothered me, that I would love the front of the dress, but then not want a lot of photos from like the back. But that did bother me, especially because it was such an expensive gown that I felt like that should have been lined up a little better. And it also did it at the sides, so where the front panel met the back panel, it also had that kind of like zebra stripe effect, which at first when I tried it on, I was like, it doesn't bother me. I slept on it, I went and tried it on again, I was like, it bothers me a little bit, but it's still my dress. I tried it on again, I was like, dang, this still really bothers me. So we talked about how the alterations person, I mean, there was a lot of extra fabric to work with. So we talked about how the alterations person would be able to line those back up. But again, what makes this gown so stunning to me is the gorgeous draping. And I feel like trying to take too much of that and manipulate it and alter it, I didn't want it to lose that drape effect. And it just, at the end of the day, I found another dress that I liked more, but this was my gown for about a week. This was the dress we were all referring to as my dress. Those were obviously not all of the gowns I tried on, but those were either my top choices or I threw in a few like wild cards that didn't end up even making the cut towards a maybe, but they were a unique enough dress or a pretty enough gown that I wanted to include it in here. So I really hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If anyone can figure out what the style of that train was called, and if they make that in veil form, I would really, really love to know. We're also doing an after party, so next up on my list is after party dress and shoes, so I think that's gonna be really fun. I also need to find shoes and what accessories am I gonna wear on the wedding day, so there's still a lot to kind of plan and coordinate, but it feels so good knowing that like my dress is ordered, it's in the works, it's gonna be here in time, I'm gonna have time for alterations. It has just been such a fun experience, and getting to share it with my mom and my sister. I wish that my little sister could have been here, but she is doing an internship for the summer, so she wasn't able to join us for this. But I have just been having so much freaking fun planning this wedding, and I was talking on Instagram yesterday on a story, I was talking about like, I can't wait to show you guys the dress when it's finally time for the wedding. And I was thinking about it and I was like, yes, I can't wait for that. Like, let's be clear, I'm very excited for that. But I am so excited to show Grant that I do not have a photo of my dress at all. I don't have it on my phone. I don't have it on my computer. Like, I do not have a photo of me in the dress because I am so excited to show him. I knew that if I had it before the wedding, I would show him the picture. And I would be like, babe, can you believe it? This is my dress. And I obviously want to surprise him on the day of. So I don't have photos in the gown. I'm so excited to be able to see his reaction, and I know that he would love any dress I picked out, but I know especially he's gonna love this one, and I'm just so excited to have that moment with the two of us. Oh my freaking goodness. I like literally, my cheeks hurt from smiling from thinking about it so much. So I'm gonna go. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, but I will be back with another one soon. Bye.